But what we do know is Drew Lock ain't it. Geno Smith ain't it. They will be drafting a quarterback. I don't know if it's going to be Stroud, Young, Levis, Richardson. I don't give a damn. They got to upgrade the quarterback position. What's going down, everybody? It's your boy RayG here for the Draft Network, and this is another edition of Mock the Mock. This is the fifth mock draft that we've got a chance to look at. I believe it's the final one from our TDN scouting department. We've gone through Kyle's, we've gone through Dame's, we've gone through Joe's, we've gone through Keith's. Now we get Brentley Weissman, who drops his version 1 of his 2023 mock draft. And we're going to be nice to Brentley just like we were nice to everybody else and talk about these landing spots. But I think when we get to V2, some things will change. Some things will definitely change. And we'll talk about some spots that we do not like because we got the college football season popping off this weekend. And as that starts and players start to pop, players start to flop, we'll be able to move some of these guys around in the mock. So there are a lot of familiar names and familiar places, but we do have a new entry in this mock that I'm excited to talk about. So I'm glad that you tapped in, strapped in. Let's get it. Brentley Weissman's 2023 NFL mock draft. Mock the Mock Fantasy Edition. Let's go. All right, so let's kick this thing off at number 2 overall. He has the Atlanta Falcons. Brentley has the Atlanta Falcons selecting C.J. Stroud, quarterback out of Ohio State. This is not an unfamiliar spot. We've seen C.J. Stroud mocked to the Atlanta Falcons by a couple of our scouts so far over this summer. Or it's not really the summer, but fall. And it's a good fit, right? Atlanta's got a lot of weapons. Well, they got two really big weapons, Kyle Pitts and Drake London. And Marcus Mariota, while serviceable, he's a replacement level quarterback. So if C.J. Stroud goes out there and handles business like I believe he will do this fall, big test versus Notre Dame, he's going to put himself right there in the conversation to be the top pick in the NFL draft. And you put C.J. Stroud with Kyle Pitts, with Drake London, it should be really good and fruitful for us from a fantasy perspective. Definitely would be a high pick in super flex drafts. Now, at number 3 overall, he's got the Seattle Seahawks selecting my boy, Bryce Young. And let me just shout out to our graphics team. Rob put out a fire graphic of Bryce Young in a Seattle Seahawks uniform. It's just awesome. Go check it out. It's right there on the thumbnail, the header of Brentley's mock. But Bryce Young to Seattle, listen, you know, they invested in their offensive line. I know old man Pete is still saying some wild things out there, but Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf is locked up. They would have a tight end in Noah Fant. I guess I don't like Seattle right now. Like, I don't know what they are. I don't know what direction this team is trying to go in. Are they trying to win now? Are they trying to rebuild for the future? I don't know. But what we do know is Drew Lock ain't it. Geno Smith ain't it. They will be drafting a quarterback. I don't know if it's going to be Stroud, Young, Levis, Richardson. I don't give a damn. They got to upgrade the quarterback position, and this would be an upgrade of all upgrades. He would instantly be the best quarterback Seattle's ever had since Russell Wilson. So that's not saying much considering who he has to follow up. But I like Bryce Young in Seattle, man. I just don't really like Seattle right now, but number 3 overall would be really happy for Bryce. And I think the fantasy outlook, I don't know, right? He lands in Seattle, good for the NFL franchise. I don't know how fruitful that would be for us in fantasy, at least early on, until they get some more weapons and protection around Bryce Young. Now, we've talked about this one at least 3 times. Will Levis, quarterback out of Kentucky, to the New York Giants at 5 overall. He's in consideration to be the number 1 pick in super flex drafts, right? It's him, Bijan Robinson, potentially the player that Brentley has coming off the board at 6, but we love it. I don't need to go in depth with this one anymore. We know Dayball, we know the comparisons, we know the athleticism, we know the arm talent. Will Levis goes number 5 overall. He's a top pick in super flex drafts, and we should be really excited about what he could become. At 6 overall, the Carolina Panthers do not ride with Baker Mayfield, and instead, I'm going to assume Matt Rule is out of there, and they look to find their quarterback of the future. And what a way to replace one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback the franchise ever had, with Cam Newton, and a player that a lot of people comp to Cam Newton in Florida's Anthony Richardson. And what I am just so excited about is we're going to know very early, like in a matter of like hours, right? Like 36 hours, we're going to know, 24 hours, 40, whenever this damn video gets posted. Anthony Richardson's got a tough test week 1 versus Utah. Then he gets a game versus Kentucky in week 2. So we're going to know after the first 2 weeks of the season what we have with Anthony Richardson. And I can see after week 1, after week 2, these mocks are flipped, where Anthony Richardson potentially is the number 2 overall pick, number 3 overall pick. If he goes out there and takes care of business versus Utah, then follows that up with a strong performance versus Will Levis in a head-to-head battle, the Carolina Panthers would get an absolute dynamic beast of a playmaker at quarterback at 6 overall, and he'd probably be the number 1 overall pick, or right there with Bijan Robinson. If Richardson is this high, I would take him over Will Levis, and depending on my roster construction, I would consider taking him over the running back, Bijan Robinson. You get a talent like Anthony Richardson, they don't just grow on trees, man. Dude is different. At 6'4", 235 pounds, he's ridiculous. Now, my wide receiver 1 talked about this fit before. Kayshon Boutte to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, I like Christian Kirk, and I think Christian Kirk is going to be very good this season for us in fantasy, but you get a chance to upgrade from Christian Kirk to Kayshon Boutte, you take that. So we've talked about Jacksonville taking Boutte in the past. Same things apply. If he goes to the Jaguars, love the fit, love the player, love the talent, my top-rated wide receiver in the 2023 class right now. Jackson Smith-Njigba comes off the board at 12 to the New England Patriots, who need any and everything. Can they trade the number 12 overall pick for an offensive coordinator? Just get somebody. I don't care who it is. Get somebody in, not named Matt Patricia. They have looked putrid through the preseason, just god-awful. The concepts are off. The wide receivers can't get open. Mac Jones has no time. This could get ugly. I could see New England drafting even higher than number 12 overall, because what we saw in preseason does not inspire confidence for us to say they're going to go out there this fall and light it up. They're just going to hit a magical switch and light it up. They need playmakers, man. You cannot have. I like Jacoby Myers, right? I think he's a good player, but he's not a difference maker. Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, and Devontae Parker aren't keeping defensive coordinators up at night. Jackson Smith-Njigba could provide a spark to that offense. Now, while I don't think he's a perfect prospect, I do think he's better than anything that they have at the wide receiver position right now in New England. Give Mac Jones a weapon. Please, New England. Just do it. Please, listen to Brentley. Draft JSN from Ohio State. Now, the Houston Texans seem to have found their running back of the future in Hall of Famer Dameon Pierce, and now they go get another wide receiver in Jordan Addison. Brandon Cooks getting a little bit older. I like Nico Collins, but we got to see what Nico Collins actually can become. And we know John Mechie is dealing with some health issues, and his playing career hopefully gets back on track. But right now, we just don't know what's going to happen with John Mechie. Jordan Addison, wide receiver USC, 1,700 yards at Pitt last year at Pitt. Now he transfers to USC with Caleb Williams. He's going to be the guy, him, Mario Williams, and Brendan Rice. But Jordan Addison is going to put up monster numbers in that Lincoln Riley offense and put himself in position to get drafted high. I like the spot. Houston needs a guy. I also need a quarterback. So, I would probably try to find a quarterback, because Davis Mills also did not look good through the preseason. We'll see how it plays out in season. But I think Houston, with this pick, they would be wise to potentially take a quarterback or figure something out, trade up, get somebody, because I don't think Mills is going to be the guy. So Michael Mayer at 16 overall, tight end out of Notre Dame to the Tennessee Titans. He's the number 1 tight end, no doubt. I think he's the best tight end in college football. But didn't the Titans just draft a tight end out of Maryland? And I get it. Like, Mayer's better than Okonkwo, whatever. I'm not pronouncing his name correctly. He's a better tight end than that. But Tennessee seems to have some bigger needs than trying to find a tight end. Hooper is serviceable. The young kid, the rookie, looks like he could become something, right? A viable tight end option. Maybe not a difference maker like Michael Mayer. Malik Willis to Michael Mayer, Treylon Burks, I can see it. Yeah, and I did say that. Malik Willis to Michael Mayer. I could see it happening. Not my favorite fit for Mayer, but, tight end premium leagues, he'd probably be a late first-round pick, back-end first-round pick with this spot to Tennessee. Now, here we go again. The Philadelphia Eagles, and I was told that the Eagles haven't drafted a running back in round 1 since like 1986, 96, something like that. It's been a long time since they took a running back in round 1. But if this running back were on the board, I don't know who would want to pass on him. I'm actually kind of upset that the Dallas Cowboys didn't take him. But Bijan Robinson to Philadelphia at 22. Why do the rich just continue to get richer? Philadelphia is just masterclass at building a team around a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. And if Jalen Hurts does and what he should do this year and takes care of business, they'll have to pay him. But they've got 2 first-round picks, and they used one of them on Bijan Robinson. So he goes to Philly with Hurts, with Smith, with Goddard, with A.J. Brown, with that offensive line. Maybe Kelsey says, I'll stay another year because I want to block for this stud. So really good fit. Don't like it as a Cowboys fan at all, but a really good fit for Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Quintin Johnson, we saw him mocked to Baltimore. I believe it was Dame or Keith that had him, or maybe because Joe had Tyler Harrell. Maybe it was Dame that had Quintin Johnson to the Baltimore Ravens. But here he is at 24, the big wide receiver out of TCU, giving Lamar Jackson another weapon. I'm not scouting the helmet, man. I think he's a better wide receiver prospect than Josh Doxson and Jalen RayG. So I like the athletic freak, 6'4", 210 pounds, athletic monster. Quintin Johnson should have a really good season in that TCU offense this fall. We talked Jamal Gibbs here at 25 to the Miami Dolphins. You know, they cut Sony Michel, Chase Edmonds on a 2-year deal, Raheem Mostert. At some point, he's going to get hurt because that's what Raheem Mostert does every single year. Myles Gaskin, woof, get out of here with that. Jameer Gibbs, running back out of Alabama, set to just go nuclear this season. I think he's going to be Nick Saban has not had a dynamic running back like this in this mold. He's had dynamic ones, but not like Jameer Gibbs. I think he's going to smash this fall, and I do think he probably pushes for late round 1 draft capital, if not high round 2. Think DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor of 2020. Would love Jameer Gibbs in Miami. He is my running back 2. Love the fit. And the final offensive player that we're going to talk about off the board, and this one, I love it, man. You give the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert, Eric Gilbert, watch out. I love it. I think most dynasty gamers, they see Eric Gilbert, his talent, his skill set, the athleticism, and being paired to Justin Herbert. If Michael Mayer goes to Tennessee, I would not be shocked one bit that Eric Gilbert gets drafted ahead of him. Both of them get first-round draft capital. You give me Justin Herbert. You give me that offense. You give me an improved offensive line. You give me a team that wants to throw the ball like crazy, who may not be starting a second-year quarterback that came out of Liberty. Give me Eric Gilbert. I am in. Brentley, thank you. I am in on Eric Gilbert. I heard the noise. If he's on the field and playing this fall for Georgia, with the talent that he has, I think he 100% will find himself in round 1 consideration, and I would absolutely love this fit for fantasy purposes. So there it is, Brentley Weissman's version 1 of his 2023 NFL mock draft, and we just kind of mocked it just a tad bit, but we've gone through all the scouts. We've looked at all of them. Hopefully when V2 comes up, we get some new entries, some new names, some risers, some fallers. Make sure y'all are tapped in. Subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, comment for the algorithm, and check out all the other dope content on the Draft Network lineup. For the Draft Network, I'm RayG. We out of this thing. I'll see you next week. Oh, actually, 4 Downs film coming soon. Make sure you tap in. I'll see y'all next week. I'm out of here. Peace.